Indigo McKeon in the house. I'm so happy and excited to have this conversation with you, to share with people who you are, what you're doing, and also to speak about stepping into the truth of who you are and that journey, which I know is going to be so useful for people walking their path and understanding that they're not alone, that this can be a challenging journey, and that there are people like you who are doing the thing and living your own story and thriving in your own way. So I would love to open the space for you to talk a little bit about you, who you are, what you're doing, so people can drop in. Go for it.
Okay. So my name's Indigo, and I am a creative person. I work in music mostly. So I create music. I love doing it. I'm in the midst of relaunching my project into a 6-piece kind of genre bending neo soul jazz group, which has been a really beautiful process. Big shift from folk music, which is what, if you have heard my stuff, you will associate it to. Yeah, and I've been working with Soph for about 4 or 5 months, helping me really step back into who I am, what I actually want to be doing, letting go of a lot of fear in my life as well as in my creative life. I also love to paint and draw and do many different things. Saying them out loud as parts of my job is a bit, oh, hello.
Yeah, like already this is something absolutely to speak to as emerging or emerged creatives, like literally claiming the label, quote unquote, of artist, musician, painter, drawer, singer. These labels come with it somehow. I've noticed in society this sort of, okay, well, I'm only an artist if I've exhibited. I'm only a musician
Yeah,
if
this is
I've got a gazillion followers. And
mhm,
I mean,
yeah,
it's probably different for your
the
experience, but
invisible criteria.
yeah, already
Yeah.
I feel to speak to this. What for you was the shift from I do this as a thing that I love to do versus
Mhm.
no, I'm a musician, I'm a creative, I'm an artist in my own right. What for you helped click that into place?
Yeah, I think there's kind of two main shifts. I think the first one, when I started to see myself as a musician and as an artist, was when I left high school to pursue music. That was a huge step, and like it was a scary one. I left a scholarship at high school, so I really had to just go, okay, this is what I'm doing. Like I'm gonna, yep, do what everyone doesn't expect me to do. And then I guess the second kind of really fully believing it, I think I was telling myself that story. I began actually like telling myself that story at that point, but I didn't fully believe it until I guess I did a lot of work on myself and just, yeah, what doing Path Apart, doing all this work with you has been huge in really owning that, oh, like I'm actually doing these things, like I need to stop disassociating from them, just
Sure.
seeing what more I need to do. Yeah, perfectionism is something I've definitely struggled with. And yeah, coming back to the intention of creating and being like, this is why I'm creating. Like, if I look at other artists around me and they have the
Mm-hmm.
same intention behind creating, I think they're doing great and I'm looking up to them. And so I
Mm-hmm.
guess, yeah, like you've helped me see myself the way I see others doing the same things. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of like putting myself down on this like lower lower level of achievement or lower level of production,
Yeah.
But in reality, I'm actually doing the same thing. It's just the
Yes.
narrative I was feeding myself is because I gave up
Yes.
something to do something that I need to be doing it better. And yeah,
Yes. Totally. These perfectionist sort of standards for ourselves that we set as creatives, like almost like we're the exception. Like it can work for
mm,
them, but
yeah,
not me.
yeah, not
And
me. Like I need to just be there right now. I can't take these steps. I can't just trust in my
yeah,
art. Like, yeah.
yeah, trust in the value of it. It's like,
Mhm.
it's so interesting that this is a story that so many people are saying, I'm the exception. It will work for them, not for me. She's an artist, I'm not. She's a
Yeah,
musician, I'm not. And for
exactly. It's
you,
that outer lens. It's not actually
yeah,
looking at yourself and your own life. It's looking at everyone else's
yeah,
lives and their achievements and then going,
yeah,
oh, mine don't compare in some way, instead of going like mine are different, but
yes,
that, you know, that's mine. It's not anyone
exactly,
else's.
exactly. And so to really just like honor that, what was the shift that clicked in for you where you realized that it was enough because it's yours and it's you? That actually the outside reflections didn't take away from your unique expression and therefore enabling you to more value your thing, your creative expression, how you show up as your creative innate self. Does
Yeah,
that
I
make
think,
sense?
yeah, it definitely
Yeah,
does.
cool.
I think it wasn't like this click overnight. It was a long, hard process.
Yes.
Um, there's definitely like, you know, every click or every like awakening, death, rebirth, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
there's a build up to it. So like
Yes.
I can pinpoint a moment, but like that moment wouldn't have happened without all of the work beforehand. So when we got to the end of Path of Heart, we had to do this like group call and we were reflecting and speaking. Um, and yeah, like saying all of it out loud, completing this first course and like actually believing it and being in a space where I was really held and like encouraged to believe in myself and in the fact that I had everything, but like the whole process of like looking within, looking at my intention, being honest
Yeah.
with myself and being honest about my outer world as well. Because, like, you know, we all want to live in like a very perfect little bubble and not sometimes face things like whether that's like people's intentions, life, like, you know, the darkness in the world. And I think like finding a way to balance reality and actually look at the darkness because it's a part of everything and everyone,
Yes.
and look at all parts rather than just focusing in on like this ideal, um and like the ideal I guess
Yes.
I was projecting, understanding what I was projecting out, what I was projecting onto my own art, just stripping all of it back to like actually who I am and who what I want to be making. And then getting to that point of like removing all of these layers and all of this like outside opinions and, you know, the things that I'm told I should make or I should be or what people believe me to be, like shedding all
Mhm.
of that and then actually having the space to be held and like celebrated in that work of like, you know, if you think like if you're thinking about emotional work, like I guess some people don't have as much as importance on it, but for me it was like a huge deal to really like put a pause on a lot of my music stuff to actually take time to like do internal work, so then when it comes time for me to present my music, like I'm actually presenting what's coming from my core and my true self. It's not this like filtered version that is trying to meet someone else's criteria. It's just like I know who I am and I know what I want to do, and no one else wants to do the same thing as me because it's unique to me and that's what makes it special. So yeah, I think
Yes.
like just having a container to be held in through like the grief of also, you know, letting go of lots of things that you thought were just you, but they're actually like not you.
Yes.
Like getting that, like it's hard work, but it's important work for sure. Because
Yeah.
yeah, now I feel like way more clarity.
Yes.
And
And I
like
really
I guess
feel that with
humbleness.
you. I do.
Yeah.
Like we, yeah, working together has been amazing. And it's really, there are very much tangible transformations, and you have transformed. Like, for anyone who doesn't know Indigo's work, please check her out. We'll send the information afterwards. But when I first met you, already was like, wow, this human, so beautiful, so amazing, so connected to her soul song, her music. And now, like, it's very much this, yeah, what we were speaking about before, this raw, unfiltered expression coming through because you've got that foundation. You
Mm,
have done this work where you have enough energetic support from within to deliver you as you are, without the fear of expectation, without the fear of judgment, because you've got your own back. Like, you
yeah.
know that you've come here with a unique expression that is going to touch people in a unique way, which is also out of your control, right? Like, you don't know
Mm,
necessarily how it's going to land, but that's not your problem, right?
yeah.
Like, speaking and sharing and singing from this place of authenticity, which you are embodying more and more every single day, which is so beautiful, is the thing that lands, you know?
So
Yeah, no, I want to honor your transformation as well, like honor how far you've come, and no problem. And honor your journey forward. Like, this is the beginning, right? And there are so many beginnings, so many endings, but this is a huge next phase for you. And so, yeah, I want to honor that, and honor you as well. I feel like you've really touched on something which I want to speak to a little bit further, is what if you were speaking to someone who didn't actually really know exactly what their soulful expression was or looked like or felt like, what for you would be some advice or some words of wisdom that you would give to that person to help them drop into
yeah,
that truth?
I think seek help. Like it's a hard thing, like, and it's not necessarily someone like, by seeking help, I don't mean like you have to go and get a manager, or you have to go and like get someone to tell you what to do. I
For
think
sure
just
not.
finding a space where you can actually show up with all parts of yourself, and have people hold you through the process of like, you know being sad, of being emotional, and like, it is hard, like figuring out who you are and what you want to do and how you want to express yourself, and you know being shown, like being mirrored back your own behavior that you'd rather not face. So I think, like,
Oh yeah.
if you know that there's something like in your core that needs to come out, but you don't know like how to get there, then like, you know get someone to help hold the space for you to figure that out. Because I think, like, you know for me, like, I was going around in a lot of circles. Like, I knew that, like, this my album that I'm doing, I've been working on it for 3 years, and I knew it's what I need to do. Like, I had this like really cool purpose, but I didn't fully understand why. But I had the answers within me. It was just about having the space to really unpack it all. And like, the the space is just so important. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, having the support, and also like having someone not telling you what you need to do, just giving you tools to reflect and tools to look further within. Because, like, you're only going to get out what you put in. Like, and like, I'm not going to
Yeah.
bullshit and say, yeah, sign up to Sophie's course and then you'll have magic answers. in 2 weeks. It's, you know, like
No,
you are a
gotta do
beautiful,
the
witchy
work.
woman, but you've got to do the work too. Like,
100%.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
think like, you know, just get clarity, and like sometimes you need help to get clarity. I'm someone who's like really struggled with asking for help. Um, and then I remember reading this one quote which kind of shifted a lot of things for me. Um, and it was like it was on someone's Instagram. I think it's Montana Lau. She's like very like sustainability kind of woman, and she was writing a post about her daughter, and she was saying like, when I was a girl, like I was always told you can't do everything, but I'm telling my daughter that you can do everything you want as long as you ask for help and seek support.
Beautiful.
And like that was really like changed a lot for me, because it was like, whoa, like that's what I've always been told. Like, you know, teachers or whoever have always said like you have to choose a path. High school is very much you have to choose a path, and even I feel like I put myself into
Hey,
a
you
little
don't
box.
know who you are. Pick what you need to do for your rest of your life.
Exactly. It's like what? And like I was guilty of putting myself in a bit of a just music box, and then feeling like I was failing if I was straying away from just doing one thing. So I
Great point.
think like remembering you can do heaps and heaps of different things. Like we are multifaceted. We can have multiple interests. We can have multiple passions. Also, like, yeah, just reconnecting with both the feminine and the masculine. You know, like there's so many layers. I could go on and on and on.
For
But I think like,
sure.
you know, getting the support you need to really understand yourself, understand your intention. And then once you've got your intention, like that's the driving force.
Yeah.
That's like that's the action based kind of thing. Like if you don't know why you're doing it, you know the steps you need to take to do it, then you know it's still you doing it. You've just got a bit more help putting the things in place. um
Sure.
so then it's not
Sure.
like this overwhelming like, oh my gosh, I want to, you know, create a piece of music, figure out who I am, do my whole healing process, and yeah, give myself a year. It's like, no.
Lifelong journey.
Yeah, exactly, marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. And knowing that each step along the way is assisting in that process. Like it is,
Yeah,
as you
it's
said, this
helping.
non-linear, cyclical
Mm,
unfoldment. Um, I totally hear you with like the container being held as a reflection. But if someone was not in a container, if someone was just sort of beginning this journey, let's say, and had just them
mm,
for the moment, what's a piece of advice that you would share with that person? Like to just start dropping in with them, for example, because I perceive
yeah,
you like, I know that you are extremely on top of your self reflection and your journaling and finding the answers from within. So, what's something that you would advise to someone who is feeling this like call, this knowing that,
yeah,
hey, like I've got something to share. I love creating, however it expresses. I don't really know where to start. I don't really know how to exactly put into words just yet, but there's
yeah.
something there. What would you say?
I would say honestly, like meditating is so good for clarity. Like I'd say meditate, drop in for even just 5 minutes if meditating is something that you're not super comfortable with. Just sit in stillness for 5 minutes with the intention of searching deep to what you actually wanted. Like going like, all right, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna take 25 breaths, and at the end I will know what creative practice I want to spend my time doing. And just doing that once a week, like learning to really go, I'm going to take a second to really think about if this is what I want and what I want to do. And like, if you give your mind the space, it will bring you answers. Like, I think like
Yes.
busyness is like, you know, it can be a block because you need the stillness in order to like bring the productive
Yes.
kind of parts. And you know, if you're taking the time to actually know again the intention of what you're creating, like am I creating because I have all these, you know, I have all these art practices and I want to know which one needs my time right now and which one I should try to further develop, then yeah, just like sit in the stillness and like really trust what comes through first, instead of going, oh, but I've also got this music project on the go, and it's like, if it's telling you need to paint, then just paint. And like, just try to stick with things. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's another one, is like, don't just do a practice once, don't meditate and do one thing once. If you do it every week at the same time, then that's going to be something that becomes habit. And then more and more you'll
Yes.
find clarity around, okay, is this practice serving me? Am I lacking painting once a week? And if so, then keep it there. And then you'll find you'll want to introduce more things, whether that's like stream of consciousness, like just writing,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
putting aside the time, maybe the day after you have your creative practice that you're trying to introduce, to really just write everything that's come through from creating. Or,
Yeah.
like, what's driving me? Like, did I feel good creating? Did it bring up like sad emotions? Like, where
Mm-hmm.
where did it sit for me? Was it a true
Mm-hmm.
expression, or was I painting because I thought it would be something someone else would like to look at?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really hear you there. Getting clear on, firstly, sort of, rather than it being this focus on the outward expression, which I
Mm,
feel creatives can get sort of hung up on, like, okay,
which is
well,
so
if I
fair enough.
absolutely, like, it's got to be
Yeah.
delivered somehow,
Mm,
but sort of like stripping it back and trusting that, okay, well, my essence can express itself in
mm,
numerous ways. And something
yeah.
which you said some time ago now, which has stuck with me, is that you said that through this process of getting clear on you and your intention and giving more space consciously to your creativity, however it wants to express, but particularly your album, sharing your story, you said that creativity, it radiates from you, and when it does, it follows you. It it
Mm,
it touches every part of your life. Suddenly work gets better. Suddenly your
yeah.
relationships get deeper. And this is something that really hit home for me, because that's what I share with people. I'm like, exactly,
Mm,
Indigo, exactly.
yeah.
Because your creative energy, your essence, will be anchored absolutely oftentimes into more music, for example, than painting, or more painting than
Yeah.
music. And yet still it can express itself. It can start to anchor in these different expressions, or more consciously cooking and working with color,
Mm,
and having a play date for your inner child once a week, like starting to consciously create the space for
yeah.
this. And from that stillness, from that spaciousness, the essence of you feels more safe to come through, because it's like, oh, there's space for me. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
okay, you can do this, you can do this. And then, as you said, the marathon, some time may pass, or it could be a flash drop in. It depends.
Mm,
There's no
yeah.
rules. But
No
then
rules.
the path clarifies. Suddenly,
Mm,
it's more obvious that your creativity, your expression is existing in relation to other things. So you realize, okay, well, this isn't serving me. Actually, that sleep schedule's not working for me.
yeah.
Or I am super creative at 1 a.m. I'm going to work with that. Like, there's something that wants to
Yeah.
come through. Or it
For sure.
being, okay, these people aren't serving me. They're holding me back. They're not supporting my journey. And it starts to become this really holistic state of being. Like, your
Mm,
creativity then becomes this gateway to literally a more integrated life. And so it assists you on more levels than just, I'm painting now, I'm creating music now. That's a huge
mm.
part of it. But I know that
Oh,
you've
it's
also experienced this, where it's like, it changes everything. It is the game changer. And so, moving on from that, I'd love to ask you, what is something that motivates you to keep going on this path when it gets challenging, to still show up, even if the ego is kicking and screaming, doesn't want to do it? I just want to watch Netflix. Shut up. Like, what for you is that drive?
um, I think like the clarity of what I'm capable of, if I really commit to it. And like, um sometimes if I'm feeling that way of like, this is hard, like I'll kind of look back and I'll go, this pinpoint moment was really, really hard, but look what happened when I pushed through. Um, so I think like, yeah, reflection's really powerful tool. Like when you're going, oh, my ego is kicking and screaming because it doesn't want to be wrong, go and, well, look how much better I am now for admitting I was wrong and changing things in my life instead of just like, succumbing to wanting to be perfect or wanting to be, you know, doing the right thing by me and by everyone all the time like that. You have
Which
to
is
be honest with yourself
self-sabotage.
to actually, yeah, it's self-sabotage. Like you can't be right all the time. And yeah, I think like reflection's just like a huge tool for me.
Yeah.
And also the birds and like listening into nature. I feel like I get little signs when I need a kick at the butt. Which is really great. Yeah, like the
Definitely.
other day, I like went to film this video of me singing, and I like had that like in a second thought of like, oh, don't do it, and then this like spotted parrot um flew past my window, and I was like, okay, I'll do it. And like it's so funny in the video. You literally watch it and go, okay, like okay,
Oh,
I'm
I
dropping
love
in.
that. I love that. Right? Because the support's there. The signs are there. Your body is a barometer for what is a yes and what is a no, what is
Oh
serving, what
yeah.
is not, what is the direction I need to go, what is not. And for you, what has your relationship or how has your relationship to these fears shifted? Because the fears are still going to be there. That's something that I feel I want to address is like, it's not like they go away. It's not like
Yeah.
suddenly, oh, I've claimed that I'm an artist and a musician, so I don't feel fear anymore. It's like, okay, well, it's going to be there, but well, maybe I can, maybe my perspectives change. Maybe I can hold that and still do the
Mm,
thing. So what for
yeah.
you has shifted, if anything, within this sort of relationship with fears,
Mm.
blocks along the
I think
journey?
like I have learnt to identify blocks and fears rather than embody them. Um, I'm a person with a lot of emotion, and I also have I've got a stress disorder. So emotions are very much felt for me, and like I kind of when I started working with you, I was really struggling with when something would come up, it would consume me. And that was the same with fear and like fear of failure and you know, um definitely connecting back to like my album
Hmm.
and like the experiences the album are about. Like I've a trigger warning here. I've been through sexual violence and my album is about healing and moving through that emotion, and I never got the deserving accountability for the things that have happened to me. And so like I wanted to transmute my pain into art
Yes,
and
transmute,
you know,
keyword.
transmute, yeah, exactly, like I didn't want it to live within me. And I knew that, you know, the justice system hasn't served me. It hasn't done right by me. So, you know, trusting in the power of art, and the power of
Yes.
music, because that's what got me through. So I think like I've just I've had a big shift in like not living my fears anymore, but understanding that they are a part of me for a reason. Like, you know, in general life speaking, like I have experiences that equate to them, but being able to actually understand that they're a fear, they're not real right now. They're, you know, they could be telling me something about a situation or a person, but I think, yeah, being able to understand like, oh, this is a fear that I'm experiencing. This isn't like, you know, this isn't where I need to put my energy, and I can actively now choose where to put my energy instead of being consumed by the more fearful, um like self-sabotage, just being scared of, even like, of my own capabilities. Like, I think spent a lot of
Yes.
time like trying to make myself smaller
Mm,
after the things I experienced, because I didn't want to stand out. I wanted to be as unnoticed as possible whilst wanting to create. So it was like this very, such polarities. Like, I want to
like,
be a
how do I
musician.
express myself and
Yeah,
individuate
and
in my
hide.
individuated expression, and
Yeah.
also play small and hide and fit in? Yeah, that's an
Mhm.
interesting polarity. It's just like,
Yeah.
do you feel it's possible to do both? Or was it for
No,
you this wake
I
up call
don't
of like,
think.
I can't do that?
Yeah, like, it was a huge wake up call of like, I'm the things I want to do are big. Like, I don't want to do small
And
things.
you
And
can
like,
claim that, right?
and I can, yeah, and I can claim that, like, I've got big dreams and I've got a lot I want to do, and I believe that my art can help others heal. And you know, I was a small voice for a long time, and I now have the power to have a big voice. And there's
Yes.
so many, like, especially like looking at sexual violence, like, that's such a privilege to say that I have a big voice, because like, that's not the common feeling after experiencing something like this. And I know I've worked so hard to get to this place,
Yeah.
but like, I'm also in a position of privilege that I've had access to mental health. I've had like mental health care. I've had access to housing. I've had, you know, safe spaces to come to. Like, you know, that isn't an option for so many people who experience sexual violence. And if I now am in a safe space and I have the power to make my voice big for not only me, but for the other people who've had these experiences but don't have access to the tools to find their voice yet, you know, it feels like a
Yeah, it's the
responsibility.
driving force. This is a
It's
very
a
powerful
driving
driving
force.
force. Yeah, I really hear you there. Like, the sort of shift in your awareness of this isn't just for me. And
Yeah.
so, coming to the last few minutes of this conversation together, which is wild. The conversations with you always go so fast. I love it. Few things. One, like, if someone is on this edge of making that leap, of pursuing this thing which they know is calling them, which they know somehow, somewhere is going to be of benefit to somebody else, to the wider collective, what is the thing that you would just say to them? Like, what, just do it. Like, what is the thing you would say? And potentially something as well, like, what is the one thing that even Path of Heart or working together
Mhm.
has really assisted you in making that leap? So two things here,
Yeah.
but go for it. Just be real and raw and just give it to them straight. I love that about you.
Trust your heart. Like, just trust your heart. Like, it's wiser than your head. Um, and seek support. That's like, I can't even say how important that is. Like, you know, like, it's just changed so much for me, like being able to accept support in a place that's submitting to it, and like actually accepting it, like, tearing down the walls and being like, yep, I'm trusting my heart. This is what I want to do. So here it is. Support me,
Yes.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Receiving. Yeah. So it's like trusting your heart and asking for help where you need, because that's okay. And the system is not always about receiving. It's always like independence, but
Yeah.
not interdependent, interconnected.
Mhm. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. That's really cool to hear. So, coming to the last few minutes, I would love for you to share how people can listen to your music, how they can find you, and then we'll wrap up our conversation.
Yeah, beautiful. So You can stream all of my music on Spotify and Apple Music and any large streaming platform. It's under Indigo McKeon. I'm pretty lucky I have a unique name, so if you Google me, I'm pretty much the only thing that comes up. Um, and yeah, so and then Instagram, it's indigomckeon.music. I also have some music videos on YouTube, but watch the Instagram space if you feel called to, because in the next few months it's going to be really exciting. We're doing the whole relaunch of the project and a
Yes.
name change. I won't reveal the name.
Oh.
And then yeah, and then a tour, an album. So it's
Yeah,
it's
big
been
things
all of
coming.
the work, like the pre-work done, and it's time this next year to just
Yes.
really let
Yes.
other people into my little bubble that I've been creating for the last 3 years.
Yeah, for sure. And you've got a solid foundation right now. And so, yeah, just to thank you, one, again, for
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
your
everything.
trust. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being of inspiration and benefit to people who maybe don't realize the power of their voice yet. Yeah, like for people watching, like Indigo has been an absolute blessing and pleasure to work with these past months. I'm so looking forward to continuing the work. And please check out her music. Like, so deeply touching. Like, I
Thank
remember the
you.
first times I listened to your music, I was like, what? So all the info will be connected to this so you can find her with ease. But yeah, just to wrap up, thank you again. Are there a few last words you'd like to share to the
Yeah,
people?
beautiful. Thank you for everything, for holding so much space, for wanting me to, now be involved in promoting your business, which I really believe in with my whole heart. It's, your work's helped me in so many ways, and I'm eternally grateful. And I really do recommend working with Sophie. Everyone in my day-to-day life has probably heard me rambling on about, hey, you're ready for cycles of creation. You've kind of mastered the part stuff. And they're like, what language are you speaking? So please come in so then you can know what
So
I'm
we can have a
talking about.
chat. Yeah.
So we can have a chat and do our heart work together.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just I wouldn't be speaking about this if I didn't really believe in it. So that's kind of the
Thank
thing I want
you.
to bring throughout.
Thank you so much, Indigo. So much love. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Yay!
Beautiful.